Hello, all yearbook students. There were just a few things that I'm noticing as we are working on our spreads, and they're just common enough that I thought it was time to just kind of review just a few things. I wanted to record it just so I could have it for anyone who is absent, and so we could all just watch this together. So, 7 things that I want to just kind of reiterate or review. The first thing that I want to just remind you to do is when you open a spread for the first time, it does not default to having a grid on your spread. You have a blank white spread. I feel like it used to default to the grid. I might be able to change that in settings, but please always, first thing, put the grid on your spread because it is really hard to design without it. Without it, the boxes on your spread, photo boxes or text boxes, start to look very random and cluttered. It's very easy to do. You go to View, scroll down to Show Grid, you can click on that, and then check Full Pica. Now you have boxes. Now you can line things up. Now you can be symmetrical and precise, okay? So first thing, make sure you turn that grid on, okay? The second thing that I want to show you, I have created a template. This year, we got started later, and so we're not necessarily behind at this point, but time is not our friend this year. So I have created a template, and if you go to templates, it is called Mrs. O's Easy to Use Traditional Template. Okay, I did not create this from scratch. I found one that I liked, and then I edited it to make it work. When you drag on a template, you literally just click down, drag, and voila, you have it. Now, this template, and I might be making a few more in the future, this template is not meant to be used on every spread, obviously, but it can be used several times throughout the book. So if there's an instance where we are kind of scrambling, I think this template is a very, like I said, easy to use traditional template. You have a dominant photo, you have several other photos with captions, you have a headline, subheadline, and then your story. So we have all of those necessary things, okay? It is not overly, groundbreaking, but it is a good traditional spread. So I wanted to show you that that was there. And again, I might be creating a couple others just to have for variety for people who might be struggling with that, okay? From here, I want to talk about margins in our spread. So a lot of people I have noticed are designing all the way out to this purple border here. Please do not do that for your entire spread unless you want your photo to bleed. And in that case, you would pull your photo out past this blue bar, okay? But except for bleeds, except for a few things that go out to this purple line, please have some white space around the margins, okay? You don't want your text to start all the way at the top of the page. It's very overwhelming to the reader's eye, okay? So please have some margin space. Some things can go out to the purple line, and some things will go beyond the blue bar, like bleeds. But for the most part, we want to leave some space around the outside of our spread, unless you have a good creative reason for not having space, okay? So margins, that was the third thing that I wanted to talk about. Fourth thing that I want to talk about is font. And just, I'm going to post this again, but it's posted throughout. It's posted in the classroom, posted in the lab, everywhere. So here are our font rules, okay? Body font is always, get out of here. Body font is always Times. And it's the Times New Roman that you are all used to, okay? Over here, Times. Captions are 8-point, and if that sounds really small to you, don't worry, it's not. The thing is with 8-point though, when you adjust the size, and I'll just highlight 8-point, when you adjust the font size over here, if you just do the down caret, you see that it just says 6 and it goes straight to 9. You just have to type in 8, okay? And when you have dummy text in for your captions and stories, go ahead and make it the right font, because then when you start typing in the actual story, it works, or you're copying and pasting in the story and captions, okay? Body font is 9 points. So stories are 1 point bigger, okay? Okay, then headlines. Ooh. Headlines are any of the following: Avant-Garde, Blue Highway, Maximo, and Sleepwalker. I know Helvetica is in here. It doesn't go away. It's not my favorite, but it is in there too. I would say stay away from it personally. But you can use any of these, or preferably a combination of these, for your headlines, okay? You will not use times. So some of you have headlines typed in that are in times. Change it, okay? I've changed some already, but you can do that. And then again, use a variety. Maybe you use Blue Highway, but one of the words in your headline is Sleepwalker, just to kind of like highlight that word. Get creative with your headlines. There is no size rule for headlines because these should be graphic. These should be eye-catching. These should be big. All right. I've seen headlines in small font, like it's like a little bit bigger than the body, but that does nothing to catch my eye. That does nothing to tell me where to read first. Okay. So blow them up, make them big, make them bold. Okay. So that's font. The next thing is very simple. It's just make sure you have a dominant photo. So I want to see, obviously what your dominant photo is. I don't want to have to go, is this one bigger than this one? So that's the dominant one. I don't know. I want to know this is my dominant photo. Should be a good photo. It should also ideally be related to the story. Okay. And then obviously the headline, story, and dominant photo should all kind of go together. Okay. That is the goal. But your dominant photo needs to be dominant. Okay. Last thing, well, not the last thing, I'm sorry, second to last thing, is 2-column. So as you can see in my traditional spread here, I have 2-column stories. They should all be 2-column stories, again, unless there is a good creative reason to not make them 2-column stories. And I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. I'm going to zoom in on this little block of text over here. Okay, so notice how I have this text box. It's 1 column right now, but I want it to be 2 columns. So I simply draw another text box, and you can adjust the size. You can adjust the size of it once you create it. So if it's not perfect, and it probably won't be, you can adjust the size eventually. So now I have what would be 2-column. So in order to get your text to just flow naturally into this column, you don't have to just stop typing here and then start typing here. Notice how my text box has this little red plus sign down here. That is because I have overflow text. What that means is I have way more text in this box than you can see. Okay, so I want that to go in the second column. All I do is I use my select tool, click the red plus sign, and then click over in the second text box. And now it automatically flows into the second column. And again, you can adjust that size, make it work for whatever you're doing, but that is how you get a 2-column layout, and that is how we want to do things, okay? All right, last thing, cropping pictures. I'm gonna go to a spread in order to show you how to do this and why you should do this sometimes. To get out of this one, I always go to File, Save and Close. And Ethan, I'm not picking on you, but I am going to your girls golf spread because this is a really good example of what I'm talking about. Obviously, Ethan has not completed this spread yet because there's dummy text and whatnot, but I just want to focus on this picture here. So he's got a picture of a ladies golfer right here. And that's great, but there is so much negative space in this photo, and we really want to see the student a little bit better. It's very easy to crop this. So you double click on it, and this red box here, you just shrink it down, okay? And by doing that, I can also really kind of create the rule of thirds that we've talked about, okay? And I could go even further. Click done. It doesn't change the size of my photo because I'm just cropping it. That really changes things. You know, if you remember how it was before to this, okay? Big difference. So don't be afraid to do that. That's a tool that maybe some of you weren't even aware of, okay? That's really all I wanted to review today. Again, wanted to record this just in case someone was absent or something like that. If you have any questions, let me know.